Hello and welcome to My Mom's Basement, presented by Barstool Sports and 3Chi. I am your host, Robbie Fox. Along with me is my co-host, Clem. And today we are here to say goodbye to this era of the Guardians of the Galaxy. It's a bittersweet day. It's a very bittersweet moment, bittersweet movie overall. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is finally out. It is James Gunn's final Marvel movie. He said that. A ton of the Guardians cast has said this will probably be it for their characters, at least for a little while. And man, we saw it last night. Opening night, we went together. I drove up north of the wall and we went to the Alamo Draft House. It was my first experience there. And I had a blast, Clem. I really needed this movie to hit. It's been a rough week. It's been a rough couple of months for Marvel, some would say. You know, we've been a little more positive than most, but people needed this movie to hit. And for me, I got to say it really hit. But I'm going to throw the floor to you right away because Guardians are your thing. These are your babies as much as they're James Gunn's.
Yep. And I enjoyed the movie, had fun, liked it. Like you said, Marvel needed a win here more than anything in the world. This was like you're eating you had the appetizer, not good. The dinner wasn't good. You're like, they got to hit the cake. The cake's coming. James Gunn is known for his cakes. They're always fucking good. And the man delivered like he always does. And you said bittersweet. And I feel like there's a lot of bitterness and a lot of sweetness because two things I'm hearing just on people who've watched it were I loved it and I cried. So it's like there's a lot of bitter and a lot of sweet. But the fact that it's sweet instead of being like either I hated this shit or it's a divisive movie where some people like it, some people hate it, pretty much universal. I think a lot of people are going to love it. I think a lot of people are going to like it. I don't think there's going to be a lot of people who even don't like it, let alone hate it. I don't think you can really hate that movie that we watched.
I agree.
Right?
I agree. I think there is an aspect of the movie that I think comic fans are going to hate. I think people are going to be, up in arms about one aspect of the movie. We'll get into that when we talk spoilers and everything. But overall, I wanted to say the Alamo Drafthouse experience, very, very fun. We had a guy come out before the movie who worked for Marvel for 17 years or something. He's like, oh yeah, I'm in the first episode of Miss Marvel. I was on set 10 years ago with James Gunn watching him direct. I'm so proud of this guy, what he's done ever since, giving out comics, giving out statues to kids. Kids were doing I Am Groot impersonations. If you've never been to an Alamo Drafthouse, no ads. This is not a free ad or whatever. I recommend it. It was great.
Yeah, that's kind of one of my go-tos for big time movie premieres because they have a little pre-show a half hour before. They'll just clip some YouTube videos or just kind of stuff to get you hyped for the movies. Like I've seen some Star Wars movies there, and they'll show commercials from the 70s and 80s, and even Die Hard I saw. And there's because they'll do the retro movies, so they'll do Die Hard, and then it's all the little spoofs of that Die Hard has had along the years and stuff like that. So I love and if you work for Alamo Drafthouse, advertise with the podcast. Help keep the basement lights on. If you work for a competitor of Alamo Drafthouse, even better, because then we'll really suck your dick and we'll say, fuck the Alamo Drafthouse.
Also, if you work for a movie theater, try to convince your bosses to let us run an event there. Reach out to us and be like, hey, we'll let you run an event in our movie theater, and we'll have the basement boys and girls come down and we'll put together our own little curation of 70s trailers and stuff before a movie. That would be super fun. Let's get into the movie, though. There's a lot to talk about. It was a long movie. It was a pretty long movie. I don't know what the actual runtime was, but it felt long in the theater. Not in a bad way, but I was just like, oh, shit. We've been here for a while.
Yeah, I think if they had paired 10, 15 minutes off, I don't think I would have complained. I didn't leave being like, oh, man, that was too long. But I was like, I think it could have went a little shorter. I feel like we've either been that could have been an hour shorter, or you could have given me another half hour. I would have been fine. This I was pretty much fine with altogether. And listen, if you're on YouTube, comment, subscribe, give us your reviews in the comments, give us your reviews, your fast food reviews if you want. I always love hearing people's fast food. What item at a fast food restaurant would you compare Guardians 3 to? Just let us know, and then let us know your thoughts why you chose that, because it's my two things. I love the Guardians. I love my fast food. Put them together. Oh, let me eat, baby.
So we open with an awesome Marvel intro, all Guardians themed. That was how the movie began. So cool. And it, gets the chills going right away. And it makes you think oh shit, this is the last 10 years of our lives. The Guardians have been here. And this is pretty much it for this version of the team. It sets that tone right away with the song Creep by Radiohead as well. It's Rocket Raccoon just walking through nowhere, listening to it on Peter's. Is it a Zune at this point? What does he have from Guardians 2?
Yeah, it was a Zune and 2. And at first, the way like the angle was at, I was like, did we upgrade to iPod? Because that I think was one of our predictions, was we were gonna get the iPod with the wheel. And at this point, I think it still was the Zune. And like you're a Guardians fan, the music is like, if it's not the number one thing you're thinking about, because it could be the characters or whatever your favorite storyline is, music is top 3. And as
Yeah.
soon as we're starting with a Creep cover, I'm like, all right, well, I guess it's the acoustic version. I was like, all right, we're ready to rock. And I was like, check mark, big check for the first song. James Gunn absolutely nailed that. And it kind of just gets you, it sets you in the right mood, right? It kind of just puts you in the right spot. Whenever speaking of Creep, the cover of it for Social Network, I still remember that commercial, and I was just like, holy fuck, that movie's going to be awesome. And I was kind of like,
and it was.
I was like, let's buckle up. We are going on a ride now.
I want to repost the Dave Chappelle clip of him doing it with the Foo Fighters and just be like everyone this weekend after seeing Guardians 3, just doing Creep at karaoke. I loved this though, and I loved the Awesome X Volume 3 overall. I thought there was a lot of musical moments in the movie, and I feel like that could be criticized by someone that's not into that. Like every scene felt like they had a different song to pair with it. I'm not going to be the guy to criticize it. I might be the guy to love it more than anyone in the world as a music fan. Like you said, your 2 favorite things, Guardians and snacks. Guardians and rock and roll are my 2 favorite. This was like, I would love to know, compared to the first 2 movies, I would assume this one had more songs in it than either of those 2.
So someone that loves the Guardians and the music side of it, especially, I think this one had great songs, because I think we were talking Awesome Mix forever now. We've been like, what's going to be on it? I know it leaked or it was online, and I was like, I'm not looking until I see the movie. I would say out of the 3 movies, this is probably is number 3 on the list in terms of the music. And I also think a part of that was, I do think sometimes they maybe shoehorn the music in for a couple of scenes where I didn't think it, like, that's Guardians. Guardians is the music plays, the scene takes place. It's fucking awesome. And there were some scenes that were awesome. I think those, like, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking that. There were some awesome scenes, but also there was a couple of times where I was like, like, so in 2's my favorite Guardians. We've talked about this a ton of times on the pod. A lot of the songs that I love in 2, I never heard until it was in 2, like when Yondu with the arrow, and then Southern Nights when Rocket's blasting all Yondu's henchmen in the air. Those are 2 songs I don't think I have ever heard of in my life, and I love them now just because of Guardians. There was a few scenes where it felt like it didn't have the same magic. Now I'm gonna go watch this in 2 days with my family. I think it could be like a rewatchable thing where the more I watch it, the more I love it. But that was one criticism I had, is I think the music hit better in 2. Like again, 2, and I know this is, some people don't agree. A lot of people go 1 and then 2, and I don't know how it'll be with 3. I mean, you got fucking the chain playing as he's fighting his father, and then father and son as Yondu's being, cremated into space. They hit every musical cue for me. I think all 3 movies are very different right now, right? And I think, so I think the first one is like a jailbreak, a heist jailbreak, whatever you want to call it. 2 is more like Heart, I feel, because you're dealing with a lot of the father issues and stuff.
A little bit of Star Wars.
Yes, definitely. And then this one's dark. Let's call it what it is. Jimmy Gunn got dark on us, and I gotta know, Bob. I gotta know. And I know James Gunn gives answers that I don't know if he's 100% truthful with online. I gotta know if that script changed from before he got fired for the tweets to after he got fired, because I'm like, that'll make a man get a little dark if you get fired.
You know what I was thinking too is, like, it's such a dark movie. Did he make the holiday special because he's like, fuck, I got to get some jokes out before I'm done. Like, we got to make something lighthearted. And they did reference the holiday special pretty much right away. Like, I think during the intro, it was really quick, like, oh yeah, Peter Quill's been depressed ever since, obviously, Gamora and all that. And ever since he found out you're his half sister, and it's just a quick line like that. But it is a little shout out to the holiday special fans. And then you get a little like Easter egg tease nod to it in the post-credit scene, which was also great. It got a big laugh out of the whole theater.
Yeah, I was really hoping we would get that. Like, I wanted to feel like the holiday special was part of it, because it was good and it was well done enough that it feels like it should be a part of it, because we all took our time and watched it. And Cosmo's just part of the gang now, which I think you'd have to watch the holiday special to realize Cosmo's a part of this, even though we've met Cosmo before. That was the other thing. The beginning of the movie, and maybe it's just the vibes, or it was maybe the way that Chris Pratt was acting. It felt more like the holiday special kind of vibes. Maybe it's just around nowhere, and that's the state of nowhere, which kind of has gone up and down since we met it in Guardians 1. I just had Christmas or holiday special vibes at the beginning of it, and he was almost like a goofy drunk. He didn't feel like legitimately drunk, right?
I know it was almost, it reminded me of Thor in Endgame, where you're riding the line of playing it for a little bit for comedy, but also the character's super depressed and you're trying to show like that they're at the bottom of whatever. And he's getting up and he's like, "Hey, Rocket, I told you to keep those raccoon hands off my stuff," or whatever. I did like the Kraglin and Cosmo scene in the beginning when he calls her bad dog and she's like, "Oh my God, you can't call me a bad dog. What the?"
So I got to ask you, Bob, you're a dog owner. You've had, a bunch of dogs in your life. Have you ever called one of your dogs a bad dog?
Oh yeah. Like you have to, like if they poop on the floor, you say it, but then like five minutes later, I'm the kind of dog owner who I'm like, "I'm so sorry I said that. I didn't mean it." I'm like petting them, giving them treats and everything. And that was a big part of this movie for me. And I said it to you. Rocket Raccoon really reminds me of a dog that I had growing up, my dog Murphy. And if you are a dog owner, especially someone that had a tiny little dog that maybe looks like a raccoon, looks like a little cute little raccoon baby, this movie is going to destroy you, because the animal cruelty in this movie makes me want to fucking go vegetarian tomorrow. It made the High Evolutionary like my most hated villain since Thanos easily. At the end of the movie, I was literally like, I was getting animated. I was like, "Fuck him up. Get him."
So I have that in my notes. I almost want to go vegan now after watching this movie, which is a thought that has never entered my head for a millisecond. But I don't know if I could ever go to a zoo again. Like even a zoo where they really take care of the animals. Like I learned this. I don't know if we mentioned this on the pod, but I think Aussie Dave told us this when we went down to Disney. The size of the safari plot at Animal Kingdom is the size of the Magic Kingdom's it's bigger than the Magic Kingdom. That's how big just the safari plot is. So these animals can, stretch their legs and they, can roam freely. Even with that, I'm just like, damn, though, let these motherfuckers just go out and have this. And this was a big takeaway from this movie. We've had all these nuanced Marvel villains that I always end up falling in love with. I love the bad boys, right? I love my boy Thanos. I'm not going to say the current villain's name because I don't want to say I like that guy. That's a problem. The High Evolutionary. If you watch this movie, we're like, "I like that guy. This guy's cool." You have some fucking issues in the tissues, man. You are fucked up. That guy
right to jail.
Yeah, right to jail. Like that is it's like the Rorschach. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, Rorschach.
Rorschach test. It's like, do you see this guy and does he have any redeeming qualities? If you say yes, straight to jail, like for fucking life. Maybe just throw you in the electric chair now. And that was one nice thing about this movie. It's like the whole theater was like, "Fuck that guy, kill that guy." I guess Ronan is kind of an absolute zero in Guardians 1. Ego, like you're not rooting for Ego at all, even though you understand like where he's coming from. But this guy, whoo boy, and just so I don't know if you were probably pretty young when Finding Nemo came out, but that was the big thing I remember is that when it came out, all these parents were buying clownfish, and then they didn't, it was a saltwater tank. You don't know how to like take care of a saltwater thing. The true idiots of the world didn't even know there were saltwater fish, and they would just put them in there and they die in the fresh water. And I'm like, I don't want anyone to be buying baby raccoons right now. I don't even know where you can even buy. I mean, I'm sure if you go on the dark web, you could buy baby raccoons at this instant. No one buy baby raccoons. If you're listening, bad idea. Don't even fucking think about it, because I'm telling you.
Don't put them in the cages. Just let them roam free. Let them go through your garbage if they want to. They live here too.
There you go. So if you want to like make a change for the raccoon population, pop your tops in your garbage lids tonight and, give them a little feast. Give them a little feast. I'll tell you though, grown-ass raccoons ain't nearly as cute as baby raccoons. Baby raccoons are fucking adorable. They're like I don't know what's S tier. I'm gonna give them A tier at least though. Baby animals, they might be S tier though. Holy fuck, those things were cute.
Dude, Baby Rocket's gonna take over like merchandise like Baby Yoda, right?
So this is my take that I wanted to make when I was watching this movie. I think Baby Rocket is cuter than any character in the MCU other than Baby Groot in Guardians 2. So I'm
Okay.
telling you right now, Baby Rocket is cuter than Baby Groot at the end of Guardians 1 when he's dancing to the Jackson 5. That Groot is cute. He ain't fucking Volume 2 Groot. I'll tell you this myself. I think he fucking goes head to head with Baby Yoda. We've had a couple fights about this. I'm not saying he wins, but I'm saying they go to the cards, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Baby Rocket, though, and he's fucking talking. He's, oh, blue sky. Oh, Rocket. It's just so fucking cute. When I rewatch this movie, I'm as excited to like see little Baby Rocket talking again as I am just like the rest of the movie.
I know. Me too. And speaking of Rocket, right as he's just getting ready to go to bed, Nowhere's complete. They're like, oh, it's finally renovated. It looks good. We put up the sign, Guardians of the Galaxy. Adam Warlock, boom, crashes through his window, completely like sends him through 3 different buildings. Nebula sees it. Peter Quill sees it. They're like, what the fuck is going on? They get into a complete fight. Adam Warlock, if you don't remember, it was in the post-credit scene of Guardians 2. He created by the Empress of the Sovereign, who is like his mother in this movie. And they want to bring Rocket back to the High Evolutionary, who is their ultimate boss as well. Rocket gets a horrible, horrible blast in his chest during this fight. And they try to put a med pack on it, but it only makes it worse. And they're like, what the fuck is happening? Nebula screams, take it off. She knows a little bit more about the tech world, obviously, being tortured with technology. And they bring him onto the med bay on the ship and find out that he has a kill switch in his system created by whoever made him this way, the High Evolutionary, as we know. And they can't operate on him without killing him, essentially, because of this kill switch. So they head to the Orgosphere to try to override the code. They're like, this is where he was created. And we start seeing flashbacks. I think this is when we start seeing flashbacks. If I'm a little messed up with the plot, sorry, it's Wikipedia. But we see Baby Rocket getting experimented on. They shave his little head. They do like a brain experiment. He's still bleeding a little bit. And he meets some other animals that had been experimented on who befriend him. Lila, the otter. They don't name themselves yet, but an otter. Someone who's like Floor. What is Floor? Bunny? Was she?
Bunny with Bunny with like the mouth
with like a bear trap mouth kind of, and then an otter or a walrus, maybe walrus, yeah, because he had the tusks. But they're so nice to him. Teefs, yeah, they're like, don't be afraid, I'm so sorry this happened to you, like, and he just goes, hurt. And Clem, that line, hurt, broke my heart in that little voice. I turned to you and I was like, look at my face right now, and I just had tears rolling down my cheeks.
I saw one single tear and it was like streaming, man. It was there was a lot of water in that one tear, man. It was like half of your body was lost in that tear in terms of water.
Dude, I know we've talked about it on the show. I'm a crier, I get emotional at movies. Other than like the Chadwick Boseman stuff in Black Panther, I don't think I've cried at a Marvel movie since Endgame. So them getting me in like the first 10 minutes of this one, I was like, oh, fuck, we're in for it. We're in for a tough one here. It's going to be rough. But really cool opening to the movie. And obviously it sets you up for an interesting dynamic where throughout the whole movie, if you were to name a main character, I would say it's Rocket Raccoon. But he's not really in most of the movie. It's mostly through flashbacks.
It's very weird. So this is the Rocket movie. So the first 2 have been Quill movies, obviously. And this one is, and I guess the first is a Quill movie, but it's kind of the whole Guardians movie. 2 is definitely Quill because you're dealing with all his family stuff the entire time. This is the Rocket movie. And even, when we get to Rocket, when he comes back, I could have actually used a little bit more of like present day Rocket. I would have liked that more, but I loved learning his whole background. And I do think like if the Guardians do move on going forward, he's going to be, like the captain, the head guy in charge of it all. And I think he really like it galvanized everyone behind him. I loved having Rocket. I didn't think he'd be in this much. And then I was like, if they fucking kill him at the end of all this, but yeah, man, the shaved head, just seeing how you've always gotten like the hints of it where it's like, this fucking guy is so smart. He can piece together all these different weapons. He can fly. He's so fucking incredible. And just seeing like the little humble beginnings of it all. Speaking of humble beginnings. So this is the thing that I think a lot of people are going to be upset about, the comic fans. Adam Warlock is like, from what I can understand, and this is someone that has not read any Adam Warlock comic books with him in it, sounds like he is a bad motherfucker. He's like a gold Superman, right? And he comes in, they give him the sickest entrance. Crazy on You playing, as I was like, oh fuck, I've been waiting for this since we saw his little cocoon at the end of volume 2. Here we go. He's going to start fucking everyone up. He fucks everyone up, right? And then he gets kind of like, they fight back and the Guardians do what they do and he leaves. And I was like, huh, that's weird. I didn't think he was just going to kill everybody. I'm like, oh, I'm sure we'll see more of him later. He'll come back. Adam Warlock was kind of a chump in this movie, but I understand why they have to nerf these super duper hero characters because you can't just have a Superman come in because he just would win and go about his business. But I threw the words around here. Phasma, Moff Gideon. Those are the level of fucking chump like disappointments I had for him so far. And I'm telling you, I'm not really upset because I really don't know him. I know the other Adam Warlock had the Soul Stone in his head. So that's it's not the same dude. This guy just has like a little fucking, it's like a decorative fucking notch.
He's got the Lil Uzi Vert piece in his head.
Exactly. He's like a ripoff. He's like a fake Vision. He's like, I wanted Vision. Mom said we have Vision at home and they gave me Adam Warlock. That's kind of how I felt like with him.
Yeah, he didn't really hit for me in this movie. Adam Warlock was actually the only part of the movie that I would say didn't really land for me. And he was fighting an uphill battle as it was. We're calling him the We're the Millers kid the whole time, right? We're like, how can we take this kid seriously? Like you said, an awesome opening scene. Like that first fight where he hurts Rocket the way he does and everything. He comes off as a huge threat to the Guardians, the kind of threat that I thought he would be at the end of Volume 2. From that moment on in the movie, I think every one of his scenes is just like a comedic relief scene, pretty much, where he's treated as a kid because he just got taken out of the incubator. So he's got like the intelligence of a 5-year-old. I did talk to our friend Jose Youngs, a massive Adam Warlock fan, a massive comic book fan. He's outraged. He can't believe this.
Jose's outraged. Yes.
He's like, are you kidding me? Like, that is massively disappointing. He's still very happy to see the movie. He's very excited to see the movie because I told him a little bit about it. Jose is one of these comic book fans who's like, please tell me all of the spoilers and that will determine whether or not I see the movie. So I kind of laid everything out for him. I think he's very much looking forward to it. He said the High Evolutionary. I'm so glad that they chose him as the villain and everything. But yeah, he's pretty upset that Adam Warlock is treated as he is. And I think he probably speaks for a lot of comic book fans.
Now, I will say this, and people are like, pocket the outrage if you guys are outraged about this. They say it clearly. He's a baby. He got taken out of the incubator early, like Robbie said. I understand that. And again, you have to kind of like make this stuff work. And, jumping way ahead here, I don't think Adam Warlock in his, maybe in his like super duper badass state will become a Guardian. I kind of like him like figuring it out as a Guardian, and he's kind of just playing the backup role. He's coming off the bench right now. It's like this. Yeah. This is the guy. This is like, it feels like he's a number one pick. This is Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins came out, kind of didn't give us what we thought we were going to get with him. And now, he's on the Warriors and he's he won a championship last year, played a big role in that, and maybe only gets better. I am excited to see him get better. And I am excited to maybe see like a different Adam Warlock from another, like in the Secret Wars, maybe that Adam Warlock with the Soul Stone. And that dude's just, cutting motherfuckers off. So again, this is my only issue. You have an entrance with Crazy on You. Yeah. Just let that dude just cook the whole time. Just let him cook. But that's just, I love that song. I was very interested to see the character. And it's not something I thought it was going to be. But again, I'll be fine with it when it's all said and done. I also, we had talked about James Gunn with the script a little earlier. I do want to know if there would have been any difference if the timeline had matched up. He never gets fired. COVID never happens. And if we start with Thor on the ship, I just feel like if you have post-Endgame Thor on the ship, it's a funnier, more lighthearted movie. And again, James Gunn tweeted at us, right? He replied to our tweet and was like, this is like, I said, I think like I would have loved to have seen Thor on. And he's like, no, Thor was never meant to be in Guardians 3. It's like, well, they ended Endgame with him getting on the ship. I'm going to call bullshit, Jimmy, but that's just me. I don't want to call my guy a liar. I love the guy. I'm excited.
A lot of people thought it was going to be as Guardians of the Galaxy, right? That's like what we were talking about, where like the next movie is going to be called that. But yeah, that's, I'm also confused. Like, do you think he planned more for Adam Warlock at the end of Volume 2? Like, that is a huge, like, mid-credits, oh my God, here he is. And then he doesn't really have anything to do in Volume 3, really. Did he set that up for Infinity War? Like, hey, if you guys want to use him for Infinity War, I just introduced. I don't know.
That's a great question, too, because I have a hard time believing that reveal is like, kind of brain dead idiot. I mean, he's being compared to Drax in terms of like, brain level, which
that's exactly who I would compare him to. Yeah.
Yeah. And if that's how you want to do it, that's how you want to do it. I was just, and it's like that's a problem. I think where comic book, not even comic book fans, just movie fans, especially blockbuster movie fans, we go in with our expectations, and when they don't hit, we're like, oh, I hate this, I hate that, and it's like I just wanted to see more from Adam Warlock, but I know he's going to get there at some point.
Yeah,
this is just someone who hasn't read the books, but like X-Men, when you guys are making X-Men, don't make Wolverine like this. Like, just don't do it. Like, there's certain characters that like just don't fuck with my brain. Like, just get him in. And if you're gonna make him do that, don't bring him to like Crazy on You or anything of that level.
Yeah,
like, you have to be like Magic Man. Pocket Magic Man for a guy who fucking deserves that goddamn song, and don't make him fucking suck when he comes in. So I'll be very interested. I think this is one of the criticisms that we will consistently see along the way when it's all said. And by the way, Asgard Into the Galaxy, the way that was like one of the biggest takeaways from Infinity War. I couldn't believe the chemistry that Thor had with the Guardians. Like, it feels like it felt like a Guardians movie right off the bat, and then he comes in and it was seamless, if not better. And it's so hard to do with this great cast of characters that feels like family.
Yeah, and in the end of at the end of the day, Adam Warlock was such a small part of this movie that him being my biggest gripe with it is like I had an issue with like 2% of the movie at that point. So,
and in a sick way, his mom being back around and kind of sucking because the High Priestess, she was such a C word. We call her a C word. Right? I won't say
yeah.
She was
not
a C
anymore.
word in volume 2. Yeah, R.I.P. in peace. So I was very happy to see her taken down a peg. I will say that.
Yeah. Absolutely. So the Ravagers board their ship when they're going towards the Orgosphere or whatever, Orgocorp. The Ravagers board the ship. Sylvester Stallone, a great little scene for him. Gamora as well. This is the Gamora from the past. They agree to help. Gamora is back with the Guardians, but very reluctantly. And Peter tells Gamora when they go, they have their little in the meantime. Or was that the song? What's the Space Hog song?
Yeah, in the meantime.
In the meantime, they do that moment, hit hard in the movie as well. And he tells her how he really feels again. He's like, we were in love. I think we could give this a shot again. He thinks he's on a private channel. He's talking to all the Guardians. I thought that was a really funny scene. And her dagger line at him, she was like, Quinn, I don't think this is going to work. It's just like, oh, you and me looked at each other like face bombed, like secondhand embarrassment for our boy.
Cringe. That's cringe worthy, as the kids say. And we picked up on it before the theater did. She said Quinn, and we went, ah, and then he's like, no, it's Quill. And then the rest of the theater went, ah, like that's just so fucking tough. And this is something that I just hope people appreciate, man. If you see your ex there, and like not your ex, like you guys were dated for a couple weeks or a couple months or back in elementary school when it's like not even a real thing. But if this is someone that like you were ready to fucking kill for, you were ready to die for, he loved her so much, he was ready to put a fucking laser beam in her chest right in front of her father to kill her, right? And save, the universe and marry her and whatever kind of stuff and all the shit they went through. To then see that person come back, but it's not that person, is like the worst form of psychological torture you could basically put on someone, other than maybe like his mom coming back to life and not knowing who he is. It was so fucking vile what they did to our boy Peter Quill there. And the Quinn line is like, it's a dagger, but it has like poison on it. And it's like a poison that will kill him slowly for like the rest of his life. And the only way you can get that pain away is through the bottle. That's why I don't blame Quill for hitting the bottle so hard.
Yeah, he hit it real hard. I mean, look, he looked after his guy Thor. He saw what he did, and he was like, I guess that's what you got to do when you get depressed. So they get onto the ship. Very funny scene where they cut a little hole. It's like a organic ship. It's kind of a living, breathing, moving thing. They cut a hole in it, and Drax like can't fit through it all the way. It reminded me of Ace Ventura going through the rhinoceros, just trying to get through that little pit. And then they run into Nathan Fillion and his guards. Nathan Fillion, a guy who's used in a lot of James Gunn movies, like in the background, he gave him a real role here and a very funny back and forth with the Guardians while they try to make their way through incognito. And then Star-Lord, of course, tries to turn on his charm with the guard. Gamora not having it. Gamora just puts a gun to your head and it says, show us the way.
So this whole, I had it written in my notes as Olgakor. What's it called? Is it Olgakor?
I had it. Where is it? Orgosphere.
Orgosphere. Okay,
But that
close.
just might be the ship, and the company's called Orgo Core. Some
It's
high
just
evolutionary
fucking
shit.
gross, man. It's some wild shit. The Guardians always pulls out some wild. I guess Marvel MCU space shit in general has some wild stuff. The thing having like being a living creature. I also like the way they talked about the guards of it. I'm like, oh, these guys are the biggest badasses in the universe. And then I go inside and they're kind of like JV Guardians, in my opinion, right? They're kind of like a
Their
JV
suits
team.
are weird. Like their suits look like they're kind of aliens, but they're
Yep.
not. They're like big hot dogs. I don't know how to describe them.
That's the perfect. I think you said it perfectly. The Among Us suits, which I think everyone was saying about the Guardians, even in like the trailers, it felt like a toy grab. I felt like that the McDonald's toys for the Guardians, they're all going to be in their different color suits, and it's just an easy way to do it. The blue button scene, I'm going to put in, I think, top 3 favorite parts of this movie when he's talking to Gamora and then the buttons making no sense, which is a very Guardians thing. It's like, no,
Yep.
blue means everyone, green means orange, red means blue, and it just makes no fucking sense. And they're just acting like that's how it's supposed to go. I thought that was some top tier Guardian stuff for me right there. And then, like you said, Star-Lord trying to turn on the charm and Gamora just straight up fucking shutting that down, and they're just having their issues where Star-Lord doesn't see her for her. She's just like, fuck this nerd. And she's kind of found, I kind of love it. She's found her family with the Ravagers. So it's like that Gamora found what she was looking for. It's just with the Ravagers instead of the Guardians. She even has like the rattier look to her hair. I feel like the Ravagers don't shower and they all have the same kind of hair, right?
Definitely. Yeah. And I love Star-Lord constantly apologizing for like violently robbing and killing all of these people. He's like, I'm sorry, we normally don't do this. We want to come in. We want to be, you just save our friend, get out of here. And Gamora getting more and more upset every time he apologizes. Like, would you stop apologizing? And then the one scene where they're like, kill that guy that looks like a cabbage. And he's like, and he just looks like a carrot or whatever.
Yep. That was
funny.
A great line. Absolutely great line.
They turn on all of the anti-gravity suits right after they almost killed Drax. I thought we were maybe about to get the death of Drax early on in the movie. And then they visit Counter-Earth in search of Thiel, the scientist who Peter Quill bumped into. He's a bald guy. He's kind of the High Evolutionary, seems like his right-hand man. And he's got a little implant, little lobot in the side of his head. And they're like, I think that is where the password is. I think he probably hid the password there. So we got to go to Counter-Earth to check it out. Gamora is not in favor of this plan. She's like, this is a trap. And they have a big back and forth the whole movie about whether or not it's a trap or a face-off. He's like, if I know it's a trap, it's not a trap. It's a face-off. I'm going there. And we see the scene we saw in the trailer where they do the ball bounce. Drax pushes it in the face. We see more flashbacks of Rocket being a genius, High Evolutionary, doing some insane experiments on animals, sending them through thousands of years worth of evolution in an instant. And things are going wrong because they're violent, but like Rocket knows how to fix it and everything. They do a turtle as well. I thought they did a good job of showing us like a human turtle that didn't look like a Ninja Turtle. Because when they put it in there, I was like, oh, this is going to look like a Ninja Turtle, isn't it? And it didn't.
That's actually a good call. I didn't think about that. And making them just so violent and evil. And you're like, of course they're going to be violent. But our boy Rocket just figures it out. And
with that little voice.
Oh, just a little. You need the little PCP meter. It's so goddamn awesome. Yeah. I didn't know if we were ever going to figure out how Rocket got those, if it was the brain that he had or some sort of stuff they had done along the way. And I'm fine just being like, nope, he just, as a creature, he just fucking hit it out of the park, whatever it was.
Yeah. And I loved like expanding on that scene where he's drunk and he's, you're laughing at me and we're not laughing at you, Rocket. We're with you. Like when, is it Guardians 2 or 1?
1.
It's 1. Yeah. I love like this movie is that scene expanded in the same way that Rogue One is. How did that Death Star have a little hole in it expand? I really thought that was cool. And I said to you right after the movie, before the movie, if you would have said to me, who's your favorite Guardian? I probably would have said Rocket, but I would have thought about it for a while. This solidified Rocket as my favorite Guardian. This was like, oh my God, solidified Rocket is one of my favorite Marvel characters.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that. Star-Lord, I think it's usually Star-Lord and Rocket are the people that you're going between. And even when they're battling for captain, you're like, I kind of hope Star-Lord wins this like battle, or when they're like flying each other, right? And they're talking about, it's like, if my thing had a hand, I could fly this ship, better than anybody. He's talking about his dick. And the thing is, like, I guess Groot, I guess baby Groot, but that's such a small time. He's just so fucking adorable.
Yeah.
But I think Rocket will leave this movie being the most if you would be like, who's your favorite Guardian as soon as you leave the theater, or in like 3 years, because I don't think they're gonna be around much and nothing will change. I think Rocket will be the number one guy.
Yeah. I hope Bradley Cooper's like down to stick around too. I haven't really heard any comments from him on whether or not he's staying, leaving. He seems like he's like, if there's a paycheck, I'll show up.
Yeah, it's like, fuck it. I sent you the video of him where he does the voices, and it's incredible. He gets much more animated than I thought he would, and it kind of when him and Vin Diesel has the ultimate boondoggle going on right now. He just says, "I have Groot" a bunch of times into a mic, but he's earning the paycheck. I saw he was showing up just for some photo shoots and stuff like that. So I think I'm with you. And then with Star-Lord, you also have to add in like punching Thanos and, you know, causing a blip of half of the universe. That does go against him, unfortunately. We have to put that on his resume for better or worse. That's a big black mark on there. So I think we'd have to go Rocket, which, by the way, we talked about this in the theater. James Gunn came out and said he would have been against Star-Lord hitting Thanos because that was out of character. You know, he shoots ego, but the stakes aren't the entire universe. In fact, it's kind of like helping the universe because he's not going to take over the universe as his little ego balls are expanding and stuff like that. I kind of liked that part. I didn't like my boy Star-Lord kind of being like the losing pitcher of Endgame. It's like when you look at the box score, he had the L next to his name. It's like you can blame Thor. Like Thor gave up the run in the bottom of the ninth, but they weren't winning the game at that point. They were already losing. Star-Lord was the one. It was a like 3-3 game, and then Thanos took the lead at 4-3, and then from there it just kind of it snowballed.
I like that scene too, and I was never into the people that are saying Star-Lord is the true villain of Infinity War and like blaming it, because I'm like, that is, for me, that is within his character. That is something he would do. And every time I watch Infinity War and I'm watching that scene and I see how close the glove is to coming off Thanos at the last second he grabs it, every time it gets me. So I do think that's a good scene. Like I respect James Gunn's opinion. Obviously, he created this version of the character and everything, but I'm very glad that they left it in.
And also the fact that James Gunn said that Gamora was originally going to die in 2, and I think it's partially because the actors didn't want to play Gamora anymore. But I'm like, damn. Like, first of all, the whole Star-Lord, the way they end up at the end of 2, I thought was fucking beautiful. And then, obviously, I think the reason they couldn't kill her, like, listen, that's our Soul Stone chick. She's the one getting tossed off. Like, that's how we're getting the Soul Stone. We didn't get out of Warlock in time, so we're going to get the Soul Stone from her. So, there was a few things with Jimmy I disagree with here. So, again, now I'm like, is James Gunn just like getting carried to being this hero by decisions he wanted to make but couldn't make? So I'm starting to get worried about James Gunn. No, he's going to be fine. He's going to crush DC.
Yeah.
He's gonna, in a good way, crush DC.
Yeah. Adam Warlock kills a Ravager and intercepts Gamora's call and realizes they're all going to counter Earth, so they start getting intercepted. Drax and Mantis have a conversation with Peter about analogies, and it's really Drax having a conversation through Mantis. Mantis tells him what to say. And they basically tell him, you got to focus on yourself for a bit. You've been jumping lily pad to lily pad, but right now, maybe just focus on Peter. And we start getting teases of his past life on Earth, where they talk about his grandpa. Mantis is like, is your grandpa like still alive? And he's like, no, he'd be like 90. She's like, so maybe he's still alive. And you turned to me and you were like, we're seeing that fucking grandpa, aren't we? I was like, I think we're seeing that grandpa.
So, dude, am I the only one that thought that was an uncle the whole time? I don't know if he says grandpa in 1, but that dude is a young ass grandpa. And I'm sure Meredith she strikes me as someone that probably had a young child. You know, I feel like she's young when you see the flashbacks with her and Kurt Russell. But I was aghast when I found out that was the grandpa. He's fucking.
I mean, he looked pretty good in the post-credit scene too. He didn't look like he was in his 90s.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see if he is. Star-Lord leaves in like 89. Is it that he gets taken away? I mean, it's the 80s
year, but
it's the 80s, whatever. So say 30 years later, if he's okay. So, but if he's like, I guess he could be in his 40s. Maybe I should be.
We're thinking about this too much.
Yeah, I'm thinking about this way too much. But he's a handsome devil. That's the bottom line. The grandpa is
a silver fox. Devil. Yeah. They land on counter Earth. As I said, a bat family takes them in. These like bat human people. Everyone's looking in their window. They point them to the ship. They're like, that's where you want to go. Peter draws a little picture of this guy, Theo. They're like, that's where you want to go. So Quill, Groot, and Nebula head out to the ship, although Nebula's not allowed on the ship because she's got tech parts already, weaponry. And then Drax, Mantis, and Gamora are told to stay and protect Rocket. Drax does not listen to the plan. He makes Mantis get on a bike with him and just drives away. So then they go meet the High Evolutionary, the first big face-off of the movie on his ship. And as they're in this meeting, the High Evolutionary is telling them, all about the experiments. Peter's like, enough with your fucking monologues. I don't need to hear one more monologue in my life. And the ship takes off. And as the ship is taken off, it's destroying the world underneath it. And he's telling them, this was a failed process, whatever. Then fucking like Man Bear Pig goes for Rocket, voiced by Judy Greer. And she goes for Rocket. She gets him. But then Adam Warlock comes in. He wants the credit. So even though they're working for the same team, he's fucking calling for the fly ball in the outfield when she clearly has it. And then it's just a full-on action scene from here. Like for the next, I want to say half an hour of the movie is like tons of action in your face. You get Quill and Groot going full John Wick. He's like, now Groot. Groot's got all these guns hidden in him. When Groot picks up like 8 guns with 8 arms, I was going wild in the theater. I thought that was so cool. Then Gamora overpowers Adam Warlock, launches the Bowie. She starts driving this thing. It is the worst piloting of all time. I turned to you. I was like, that is us flying the Millennium Falcon at Disney World right there. We were so bad at it. We banged that ship up. Quill and Groot jump off the fucking ship as it's exploding. High Evolutionary is like, great fucking plan. Jump onto an exploding planet. Groot grows wings. He's got fucking wings. And then this is, I didn't think they were going to kill him. Maybe like foolishly. They were like, you're the only one that's going to die here. The way they kill this scientist is brutal. I mean, they just literally jump off the ship and then drive him into the ground till he's dead. Then they essentially slice out his brain. So it's like, all right, James Gunn, fucking A, this is metal shit right here.
Oh, Certified Metal by Bob Fox?
Certified. And don't worry, we'll get to a scene later, which I will declare the most metal scene in the history of the MCU.
What shit, as I'm thinking about it, there is a scene, it might be a DC movie where a flying hero, or it could be a Guardians movie, the flying hero like takes a guy and is basically just like dragging him like this guy gets killed.
Yeah.
But I can't remember which one it is.
Did Superman do that to Ben Affleck's Batman at some point? I don't know.
Maybe. When Star-Lord jumps off, I'm like, oh, he's just gonna throw on the mask and use the fucking rocket boosters. He didn't have them the entire movie.
I just realized that. I didn't realize it until you just said it. He didn't use the fucking mask. That's weird.
He didn't use the mask, and then people said, I think they say in Infinity War it breaks or something like that, but it's like, no, in Endgame, he comes out and he fucking throws the mask on. The mask is there, and I have not seen the mask get, removed, taken off, and it's not like he's just yanked out of nowhere on his own. Like, they're like, all right, we have to go save Rocket, and I guarantee it's wallet, phone, keys, mask. That's Star-Lord's check before he leaves the house every single time. So that was one thing, because especially when he goes out in space, I'm like, oh, just going to put the mask on. We're good. And I'm like, am I the only one remembering that you have a fucking mask there, buddy? So I thought that was, so that threw me off. Groot growing wings. I'm like, this fucking guy, we've been using our Groots all wrong this entire time, right? I guess the old Groot probably didn't, like, he only had so many tricks. He could like get those little light flowers, right? And obviously he makes the big ball to save them. But Counter Earth altogether, it was funny. Like, it was almost like a comedic relief planet as much as it was anything else, right? Like the Statue of Liberty that they have, obviously, the a lot of the stuff with I do wish that bouncy ball scene wasn't in the, I think it would have hit even better in the theater if no one knew it was coming. And the F-bomb, the first F-bomb in the MCU, it landed, and that was with me knowing it was coming.
Yeah, it landed. That might have been the hardest laugh in our theater.
Yeah, for sure.
If you don't, I mean, I know some people watch this without seeing the movie. The first F-bomb comes from Nebula trying to figure out how to get into like an 80s style car with like one of the push buttons where you have to push in and then unfold it. And he's like, push the button. You're pushing the keyhole. Push the fucking button. He doesn't say fucking yet. He's like, push the button. You're pushing the keyhole. She finally pushed the button. She goes, all right, now what do I do? He goes, open the fucking door. And everyone died.
Yeah,
Really, really good.
that worked so well there, man. It was good, and be like kind of this silly stuff where Drax is like, "I'm just gonna drive you right to the ship that's like in walking
Yeah.
distance," and then he just keeps going, and that was. And I didn't want to say this obviously before we started the spoiler part of it, but this is the last time we're gonna see the crew together, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like just all those things. We may have a few of them come back, but it's not gonna be all of them. So it's like that's why I try to cherish all these little moments that we had there. And dude, someone made a great point. They're like High Evolutionary, like if he wasn't gonna like just straight up kill Counter Earth, it seemed like he was pretty much like locked in there until this all kind of went to shit. Peter Quill has so far been responsible for half of the universe being fucking wiped off the map, and he just killed a planet basically by himself. He is reckless. He's a reckless motherfucker. I love the guy, but god
They
damn,
do kind of
man.
make me feel for that planet too. Like as much as it's a comedic relief, everyone looks kind of silly. Like I was like, damn, they are just a normal family in there. They got their like Sears photos of the whole Bat
Oh,
family and everything.
all the Sears photos and just all the shit from Earth, and it was like I don't know, maybe like 20 years. Like they're like 20 years behind us,
You're
right? In terms
behind,
of the
yeah.
cars and everything, which makes sense because you have to kind of evolve it all. And then, but it's like no, all those people that like you kind of like, oh, they're so cute. Even the husband who was like, oh, I don't want to give him our car. They're
Yeah.
dead. They're fucking
Yeah.
murdered. They're lit on fire. The whole planet is dead, man. So
I thought for sure the Guardians would figure out a way to save them, and that would be a big like, look, we saved the animals. No, they're I
no.
mean, some of the animals survived by the end, but most of them are dead.
And
By
then
the way,
and then I think about like all the chickens and cows and other animals that are killed on a daily basis for my consumption.
I know.
And I'm just like, God damn it. I can't watch this movie on. I'm gonna have to tell the kids to go by themselves because I like food. I like fucking burgers. I like chicken. I like all this shit.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Know what else is crazy? How goddamn good C4 energy is.
Preach, Bobby. Preach.
I've got the C4 here every week. I've got my multiple flavors. I've got the fridge stocked with them every week. And C4 Energy is the sponsor of not only My Mom's Basement, but also the WWE, where Dave Bautista got his start in the entertainment business. Started in WWE, made it all the way to Marvel in that first Guardians movie. I remember people being like, isn't it so crazy that that guy from WWE like has a role and he's pretty funny in it? And at this point, he is just the most lovable guy we've got. So if you're looking for some energy, if you're looking for something to keep you up, so you could go to like, I saw there's like a 2:30 a.m. screening of Guardians in one theater. If you're looking to go to that screening, get some C4 energy. It's not just energy, it's smart energy. And with 300 milligrams of caffeine, the ultimate energy will fuel you up to get whatever you need, whether you're gearing up for a night out, pulling an all-nighter, trying to edit stuff, whatever you need, they've got you covered. Whether you're getting ready to rumble, pumping up the crowd, they've got the Brainberry, clinically studied cognizant. It helps improve your focus, keeps you more ready than ever to execute your perfect finisher on a guy as evil as the High Evolutionary, right? So whether you're battling it out, whether you're looking to go get some ultimate energy with your friends, go to 7-Eleven, go to c4energy.com. That's the letter C, number 4, energy.com, and purchase yours in all 4 flavors. As I mention every week, my favorite is this one right here, the Arctic Snow Cone. But the Smart Energy is also amazing. This one is strawberry guava. They also have the cherry lime. I love the cherry lime. It's in a blue and red bottle. So go check that out. C4 Energy is the best in the business. We appreciate them for sponsoring the pod. It's a great connection here. C4 Energy, WWE, My Mom's Basement, all together.
C4, baby. We love it.
So Nebula, Mantis, and Drax believe that Peter is still on the ship and Groot's still on the ship. They jump on board as it's taken off. Adam Warlock's mother is actually killed in the planet's destruction. Very cool shot as he's flying towards her ship, trying to save her, and is not able to get there in time. Obviously turns him a bit there. And then we get more flashbacks that show Rocket's escape. And this flashback, oh my God, it was so fucking sad. They start to escape when Rocket realizes High Evolutionary tells him, oh, you were never meant to come to the new world. Like, you're a fucking failed experiment. We're going to cut your brain out and look at you for parts. Goes back, breaks everyone out. I love the way he started putting that little key together, too, with all the spare parts that he was hiding. And then the High Evolutionary fucking kills his girlfriend, Clem. Kills Lila right after they get their names right. Lila, Floor, Teefs. We fall in love with all these guys. He shoots her in the back, shoots the other 2 in the cages, And then we see, why does he have that weird face, that weird stretched face? Because Rocket went wild on him. Absolutely clawed that face up, went crazy, grabs a gun, starts shooting people, takes off in a ship. And this is essentially, I mean, the whole movie was the Rocket origin story, but this is the moment that made Rocket the man who he is today. Hard to watch.
They should have played Crazy on You when he just tore the fucking High Evolutionary's face apart. That would have been maybe the better time to use that song. As he kept doing it, I'm like, and you know what? It definitely would have spooked kids out a bit. I would have loved to hear some screams. Like that dude is just in absolute hell because raccoon claws cannot be fun. And he's just fueled by just pure rage at that point. That would have been an interesting mix. And damn, dude, I didn't even see it coming. It's the worst part about it. I'm like, damn, like how maybe Lila has just been somewhere this whole time because I know she is like a legit character in the comic books. So I'm like, oh, we're gonna meet Lila at some point. I should have known when she's talking about the blue sky and the sky going on forever. That's basically I could have just put the bullet in her head right there because like that's monologuing, right? It's like it's my last day on the force. I retire tomorrow. I got my boat. I got my wife. I got my retirement house on the water. And it's like, nope, your ass is grass. And I mean, it's the fucking Sid's Toy Freak Show crew, right?
That's exactly what I thought of too.
Yep. It's devastating, man. But I mean, I would have loved like a shorts, like a animated shorts with Teefs and
we still could get them, I guess, like some fun, but like we know the ending is the most tragic, sad thing in the world. Like going into this movie, if I was laying a wager on the Barstool Sportsbook, I would have said that Rocket Raccoon was going to die. I thought that this movie was going to be, maybe get a couple Guardians die. Halfway through the movie, I would have said, no, this is too sad. There's no way they could kill Rocket after all of this. He's going to go off and be with Lila at the end of the movie, and that will be his happy ending. And then they fucking shoot her in the back. And I was just like, oh my God, how do we do this?
I'm sorry, go.
Continue.
No, I said to you, I don't think they can kill Rocket. Like after like the seventh, like heartwarming or heartbreaking part, I was like, they can't just kill him by the end of this now, can they?
Well, I think how could it get sadder? And then the next scene is the one that got me more than any scene in the entire movie. It made me bawl. And I don't know if this is chronologically the next scene, but it's the next one that I'm going to talk about. They go to the Guardians med bay. They've got what they need, but Rocket fucking flatlines. And when he flatlines, he goes to purgatory, you want to call it, like the space before heaven, and he sees his friends. And when Lila gives him that hug and she tells him, this was your story all along. Oh my God, the tears were streaming, Clem. I was like, holy fuck. And she tells him it's not your time yet. Like, we will be together one day, but not yet. And she pushes him back and he wakes up. And it was such an emotional moment. The theater was clapping for it when he woke up, but it was a smattering of applause first. And people didn't know what to do. Like everyone was so, I think, choked up. But then he's alive and he's like, where's Nebula? That's her code over there. What's going on with her? And he's just back to the Rocket that we love and know. And then for the rest of the movie, he's just like, he's not traumatized by, in a way he is, but he's just determined to finish this mission, kill the High Evolutionary, and they basically go on a wrecking spree from there on.
Yeah. The Rocket coma scene, or the Rocket like heaven or at the gates of heaven, whatever you want to call it. It reminded me of spoiler alert. I know that it's a very sensitive thing to be spoiled like 20 years later, but The Sopranos, when Tony's in the coma. And he could hear, I think, Steve Buscemi's character, his cousin Tony, and it's like the house, his mom is in there, like all these people who have passed, and you kind of like see shadows of them, and he's like, come on, come in the house, kind of a thing. And that's exactly what I felt with Rocket there. And I hated 90% of that coma shit on The Sopranos. That drove me bonkers. I fucking love The Sopranos. I hated the coma season or whatever the fuck it was. So, but I enjoyed that Rocket thing. And like you said, like, people were clapping that he was back, but they were just as much clapping that he didn't die. They were like, oh my God, thank God.
It was relief. You heard like people go, oh, thank God.
What an absolute, and not to get ahead of ourselves here in terms of the like blow by blow, what an absolute curveball James Gunn threw at everyone, being like, this is gonna, like, he's like, right, it was an emotional movie. It did fuck you up, but we somehow didn't get anyone killed, which honestly,
get happy endings. Yeah.
They got happy, but like, it completed the character, and it's like but they didn't make it like super cheesy or corny where everyone's just happy, everything's perfect. Star-Lord and Gamora getting married and they're all in the wedding parties. It's like, no, like it's fucking a little realistic side of it as you can be in a space world that's, you know, all this crazy shit. So I appreciated that. I feel like they were able to land the ship, but not make it like super corny and as realistic as you can, I guess.
I agree. I thought the endings were super like realistic in terms of where the characters would go, what they were feeling in that moment. Drax, Nebula, and Mantis discover cages full of children imprisoned. And I heard you just go, oh, fuck. And text me, you're like, oh, man. Oh, God.
I was,
how could this guy get worse?
I'm just thinking, God damn it. I'm going to be going this with my kids. I have to already deal with the fucking cute little animals getting murked right in front of their eyes. I got the High Evolutionary looking at Gus Fring a little bit. And then the kids were like the intro to it all. It's like, motherfucker. It's the Thor Love and Thunder, right? When they're all just in cages, except this is
this was
thousands.
Scarier. Yeah. Like that was even a little cheesy with the eyes and, you know, whatever. This was like, you're actually a child in prison now. And they get unleashed into this pit with the obelisks. I believe that's how you say it. It's the monster from the beginning of Guardians 2.
Yes.
That we saw that they attack. But there's like 3 or 4 of them. And Mantis is able to calm them down like Baby Yoda calms down the Rancor in Book of Boba Fett. As soon as she did that, I was like, oh, she's doing a Baby Yoda. Sick. She calms it down. And then we see Kraglin and Cosmo arrive on nowhere. Something that foolishly slipped my mind. I didn't think of where's Kraglin, where's Cosmo, what's Nowhere up to right now. They fly that fucking thing in. They start firing at the High Evolutionary ship. They start making things explode. Cosmo connects to the ship telekinetically, helps free the kids, starts holding things in place. Rocket goes and discovers the cutest baby raccoons in the history of cinema. Oh my, the cage full of them, and sees, what does it say? Raccoon. He is a raccoon. Come on, Rocket. You were a raccoon all along. And the High Evolutionary confronts him in this moment. They also have this awesome, I think right before this, skipped over it. They have an amazing hallway fight scene where the Guardians are finally reunited. Groot is sending his arms through fucking mouths, spiking them through bodies. Rocket's back on Groot's shoulder, firing guns. The crowd like almost wanted to cheer when Rocket got back on Groot's shoulder. I felt like it was just so like the boys are back in town.
I did a fist pump when he did that. I was like, there it is. Like, yes, I legitimately fist pumped. The one take fight scene was awesome. Was that No Sleep Till Brooklyn was playing during that?
Yeah. That was one of the best scenes in the movie.
Yeah, so like that was one of the music scenes that I felt did hit. Also, Nowhere being used as a weapon and the fucking eye cannon or whatever, then like that eye cannon, I didn't know it could fuck up something so bad. It just like destroyed this ship. It
looked like the pirate telescope.
Yes, exactly. Good call. And yeah, that entire so Rocket finally seeing he's a raccoon after being called a squirrel and a badger. So it's like yes, rat, squirrel, badger, raccoon, raboon.
Did they call him a dog at some point?
Someone I think yes. Yeah, can I pet your dog? Like that's what he said to Mantis. There's just like we need a list of every single thing that he's been called along the way in terms of it.
And I also loved that little like subtle. The first person he asks about when he wakes up is Nebula, and it's like they bonded when they weren't blipped away, and I liked that as well. That the first he looks around, he's like, "Where's Nebula?"
Yeah,
like, they were friends when nobody else was even around.
And Nebula shows, I think, the most emotion outside of maybe Quill when he comes back, because they did have that end game 5 years together where all the other Guardians were gone. And that was one thing I think I had mentioned to you either I don't know if I mentioned on the podcast or I texted it. I was hoping we would have a blip conversation because I think this would be the best crew to talk about the blip, especially considering you did have 2 of the people around for it and were played key roles in Endgame, and then the rest were gone. I don't know what the fuck Gamora was. She came through time.
Schrodinger's Gamora,
yeah. So, and the fact Gamora didn't get snapped away in the second blip, right? It's fucking it's a whole lot of shit. So I would have liked that personally. Maybe that'll be a deleted scene or something like that.
So the High Evolutionary attacks and the Guardians come in for the save. And this is straight up like every single Guardian hits their finisher on him in succession. It was, boom, 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 boom. This is like when someone awesome comes in the Royal Rumble and everyone's like, we're all attacking him at the same time. There's a classic Elimination Chamber. I believe it was No Way Out 2009, where John Cena was eliminated first. And it was like he got hit with Chris Jericho's finisher, Rey Mysterio's finisher, Edge's finisher. Then they pinned him. That is what this scene was. I loved it. I saw the little silicone coming off, and I was going, rip that fucking face off. Rip that fucking face off, Gamora. And I kind of wanted Rocket to get the kill, but I was okay with Gamora ripping that face off because she is kind of the coldest, the meanest, like the most savage of the crew. And this is the scene, the visual, more likely, that I'm declaring the most metal thing I've ever seen in the MCU. The sight of the High Evolutionary's face ripped off was terrifying. Talk about taking your kids to see this movie this weekend. Oh my God, Glenn, you might have to cover their eyes for this.
So this is the part that I am the most concerned about. I mean, the cute little characters getting killed, but it's kind of like they don't really
see blood and yeah.
You don't see
Gore.
them actually get shot and they're like recoiling and bleeding out. Right? The face, that's something you could see in a nightmare. You close your eyes and you see the face. I mean, I probably had nightmares when Gus Fring fucking, again, like 10-year-old spoiler there, Harvey Dent with it in Dark Knight, all that kind of stuff. This is something where I'm like, do I cover the eyes? Do I try to like say some of them to kind of break it? Because I'm telling you right now, it's a much different, it's a much sillier moment. But Large Marge and Pee-wee's Big Adventure scared the fucking piss out of me. And that is 1/100th of what we saw on the screen there. And it could have made it even gnarlier, right? I feel like he probably got a little bit of work done, but he can only do so much when a raccoon claws your fucking face
his
off.
Mouth is cut up, obviously the eyeball. If I could give you advice, don't tell your kids before they see the movie that it's scary, because that is what my brother did before The Dark Knight came out. We were on our way to the midnight showing of The Dark Knight. My brother turned to me and said, just so you know, I was 10 years old. He's like, I've heard this movie's very scary. And I was like, what the fuck? Triggered an anxiety attack and I wanted to go home. So I went and saw it the next morning instead. Pussy move by 10-year-old Bob. But you know what? That's 10-year-old.
Mike Fox, have you met your brother before? I mean, I know him now as a grown-ass man. I would know not to say that. Actually, I'm not going to say grown-ass man. I'm going to say as a man in training, an MIT. You're an MIT, right? Oh, God, Bob, I got to tell you this. So quick timeout from the pod. Just a quick story. Before the movie started, you said they're like, any kids come on up. We have some giveaways, and they had all the kids come up. They did their Groot impressions, and they got toys. So I said to my wife, I called them, and I was like, oh yeah, it was really cute. Before they had all the kids come up, the game stuff, and she goes, did Robbie go up?
I knew she was going to ask. I knew that's where that story was going.
And I said, oh, that's good. I got to tell him that.
Oh, man, I should have for the video. Imagine it was just me and those like 8-year-old kids. I was at the end of the line. I am Groot.
Everyone's up to your knees, and then they're just like, and Bob tall, sneaky tall motherfucker. You're tall, like, what, 6'1"?
6, no, just 6.
Just 6, okay. But yeah, you're low key a tall guy. So
yeah, I look small next to people from Barstool. It's fucked up. Like in high school, people were always like, Robbie, you're pretty tall, and then I got hired at Barstool, and everyone's 6'3".
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I mean, KFC is like the one guy who I would never thought he was so tall, and I'm like, he's a sneaky tall guy.
He's got the Fleischman poof too.
That adds to poof. And a lot of poofs. We have a lot of poofs in this.
A lot of poofs.
All right, so time in, but I just had to share that story because it made me laugh when she said it.
Back to Guardians. During all of the High Evolutionary versus Guardian scene, we're also getting his army versus the Nowhere entire army, I guess, planet civilization. And Kraglin finally figures out the arrow. He was trying to figure it out earlier on in the movie. He couldn't. Cosmo's kind of like one-upping him with her telekinetic abilities. But Kraglin, in a kind of use the Force, Luke way, hears Michael Rooker's voice and then sees him. And this is something that you and me were like, we got to get Michael Rooker, right? He's James Gunn's good luck charm. He uses him in every movie. This was the perfect use of him. It was a 2-second scene. Use the Force. He figures out the arrow, starts shooting it all over the place. Cosmo's hold breaks at the end, though, and Quill doesn't make it. Is this the fucking third movie in a row where Quill gets frozen in space?
Can these fucking guys, before they leave to do their little mission, their little adventure, everyone's like, all right, we have one of those little suits, right? So if one of us gets lost in space, we're fucked. We almost lost Gamora to this. We almost lost Quill to this. We lost Yondu to this. After the Yondu thing, it's like, all right, you got to have your fucking space condom. Everyone has to have their space condom on before they get on the ship. That's a thing. It's like a cup check. It's like, all right, let me see you, let me see it at least in your pocket or whatever. I don't know if you could inflate it and then deflate it. I feel like it's like a one use only thing, right?
Yeah.
So come on. And again, as Quill's out there, and I'm like, oh fuck, and then the ice is coming. I'm like, the ice is a bad sign. We usually don't come back from the ice, and then the fucking like puffy, swollen.
It's like Polka Dot Man's face without the color.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, without all the weird polka dots. But like he started getting all bubbly, and like I started for a second, they fucking got me. For a second, I was like, are they about to kill Star? Like, is Peter Quill the Guardian that's going to die? And we're going to look at the Guardian story as this was Peter Quill's story. Like, they got me. But Warlock comes in with the little boop.
That's all he had to do, just a little boop. Which, again, that's why I think they had to nerf him, because the guy does have that kind of like cachet and power that he can do stuff like that. But man, I was going to say, I was like, I had the dread, and I'm like, my heart's starting to race. I get that feeling in my stomach. Oh my God, they're going to kill Quill. Like, I can't believe it. Like, what a misdirection. Okay. We forgot to do our predictions podcast, or like a prediction section of the last podcast. But I was like, I thought Rocket was dead. I thought Drax was dead. And I thought there was a chance we could lose like a Kraglin. I thought along the way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're going to keep all of them, but we lose Quill. And, you know, Chris Pratt may want to go do fancy Chris Pratt, big actor things now. But even with that, and then in the midst of all that, I go, hey, asshole, use your fucking mask that you have that you can just like, and I don't even know. I think would his mask protect him? I don't think so, because Yondu has to like throw the suit on him. Anyway, I'm just like, you have rocket boosters in your feet and the mask on, use that shit. So I was going crazy, and I still don't have an explanation for that. But again, I'm a Star Wars fan. I was told the Emperor just came back out of fucking, you know, I should probably spoiler alert.
Also, we know that Princess Leia could also survive out there in space as well. Sorry, I didn't. I had to. Yeah, I had to.
People are going to see this podcast goes 4 hours long, and 2.5 is just me ranting and raving about how much I hate that fucking scene in that movie.
They're like, what happened? They stopped talking about the Guardians in an hour and 6 minutes into the podcast. They just started talking about The Last Jedi. We do get our final scene after this, though. It's kind of a longer final scene, but it's really nice. This is the way they write everyone off. So the Guardians meet up on Nowhere, and they decide pretty much mutually to disband. Quill names Rocket as captain. They all give him the salute. That was a really nice moment. Like, you could see how much it meant to Rocket when they did that. And Quill was like, man, I think Mantis is right. I think I got to go learn to swim. I got to stop jumping lily pad to lily pad. And Mantis is like, you know what? My whole life, I've been doing what Ego wanted, and then I did what you guys wanted, and I love you guys, but I think it's time to find out what I want to do. So she goes off. She leaves with the monsters. Drax is like, I'll come with you. She's like, nope, that's not what I said. So he goes and with Nebula decides to raise the kids on Nowhere because his true purpose was being a father. Drax making it through this movie. He was minus 10,000 to die in this movie. The fact that he made it through, salute to him. And it was a beautiful way to write him off. Like, we know that he lost his wife and daughter due to Thanos. He had a great relationship with the imprisoned kids right away, doing the monkey noises and doing the like booping people on the head and everything.
Oh, it was great.
So funny. That was a very, very funny scene. And Groot obviously will be sticking around with our boy Rocket.
Yeah, I like that Groot and Rocket. Like, Groot and Rocket are a package deal. Like, when they're going around, they're like, you know, I'm gonna do this, you're gonna do that. And I'm like, Groot and Rocket are basically a package deal at this point. Even when you're playing video games, you're Groot with Rocket on the shoulder, right?
Yeah.
And that's just how it is. Like you said, the action figures come with that. And when they had that quick little moment, it was so
and
cool.
Gamora, I forgot to mention, is going off with her real family, the Ravagers. This Gamora, that is her family.
That is her. And I appreciate like how they're welcoming her back. They're all fired up.
They're so happy to see her hugging. Yeah, you could see like this, everyone's getting a happy ending. And man, the song they chose to end this movie was fucking pristine. It was so good that you get the moment where we get an iPod with a wheel, and seeing Rocket, I got chills talking about it. Seeing Rocket scroll down to the 2000s for the first time and put on Florence and the Machine, The Dog Days Are Over. Great song. But for this scene, it was even better. Like, I never liked that song as much as I do now because of the way it just encapsulated everything. The Dog Days for the Guardians are over. They all get happy endings, and they all go off to do what they got to do. Yep.
I'll tell you too. The line about, is it Nebula who says you were, or is it Mantis who says you were meant not to be Drax the Destroyer, but Drax the Dad? That one hit. That one hit the dad bone for me. And it may not surprise you, Robbie. Me and Drax, we're basically, I'm learning the same kind of dad or big guy. I am the guy who goes to the house and goes, what? And then the kids just laugh. And I have to do it for like 10 minutes straight, do funny
Yep.
noises, funny faces, because I'm just a big, like, lovable idiot. So that one hit really fucking hard. And when they're all together and Groot says, "I love you." So a lot of people loved it. Some people didn't love it. But
Oh, really?
I've also heard a lot of people say that this is us understanding Groot. We've now, like, Gamora was able to understand him at the end of the movie. We are now, like, basically family with him, and we can now hear what he says. So that
I
was
like that.
a twist that I don't know if it's like that. James Gunn might be like, "What are you fucking idiots talking
I
about?"
might be like, fucking no. The whole point was he finally says something after all that time. But I actually like it either way. I liked it in the moment. It made the whole theater go, oh, like everyone got a little excited when he said that. I also like the headcanon of we're understanding Groot. We're finally family with him after all this time.
Yep.
Either way, I'm taking that moment and I love it.
Yep. I have to say this though. Our Guardians, great heroes. Great. They've grown into great people. They stink at dancing. They're not good dancers. And,
No.
And I'll say this right now. I'm not a bad dancer. I'm not going to say, like, everyone's a good basketball player in their mind, right? And then we've seen at Barstool, they go out on the court, there's a video, and they're like, everyone fucking sucks. What was there this talk here? I'm not a bad dancer, especially if I have a few pops in me. These guys, I was like, and granted, I wouldn't expect Nebula, like, having a smile is a big win. Her dancing.
Yeah.
Groot was a great dancer as a baby. I feel like he's lost it a little bit along the way. He had the fucking rhythm going with Mr. Blue Sky, right? I feel like he's lost a little. He's a little clunky. I know what it's like, similar body type there. But same with Rocket too. He's been through some shit. So that was like you said, the Dog Days. That is a song. I hear that, I'm going right back to nowhere every single time I hear it.
Absolutely. And then we get two mid-credits. We get a mid-credits and a post-credits. In the mid-credit scene, we see what looks like the new Guardians of the Galaxy. It's not, I guess, explicitly stated, hey, this is the new team, but it consists of Rocket, a fully grown Groot who is massive. This guy's like a fucking Hulk Groot. Cosmo, the dog, Kraglin, Adam Warlock, and then there's a little child, one of the children. Apparently her name is Phyla, and in the comics, she's the like genetic daughter of Captain Marvel. It seems they're taking a different origin story for her here, but she does have superpowers, energy beams, and also Blurp, that dog that Adam Warlock really loves. I liked Blurp.
I was a fan of Blurp. Blurp, if he plays his cards right, I'm saying Rocket's like, Baby Rocket was like the second cutest MCU character behind Baby Groot. I mean, Blurp is probably like top 5 just right off the bat. There's not a lot of extra cute things. Okay, Morgan Stark, cute.
Yeah.
Trying to think what else is really cute in the
MCU.
MCU.
You know what's kind of cute for me? Is that little fucking pillow from Shang-Chi.
Yes. Yep.
Remember that guy?
That's definitely works.
That's
definitely on the list as well. So I'm happy Blurp's around. There's also, what is it? The Inhumans. They have like a dog or something. I didn't know if he was him, but I don't think he is him. Blurp is him.
At some point we see in one of the Guardians movies, we see like a fight happening on the table. I think it's in that scene where Rocket's like, why are you laughing at me or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
James Gunn has said Blurp is just a furry version of one of the monsters on that table.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. So apparently we've seen his species before, but it's like a different, like I had a long-haired Chihuahua growing up. Didn't look like a Chihuahua. You know, you wouldn't say that.
Was this the scene where Come and Get Your Love plays too? Does he turn that on in this scene?
Oh yeah, that is. He's like, I got a good song for this. Boom, and hits it. And it's like,
I love how they're like, I'll take this one. No, I'll take this one. And like, no, let's just go kick these guys' ass together. And this Phi Lavelle, so that's the young kid with the blonde hair. Apparently, like, legit badass. I don't know if she's like Adam Warlock level or whatever, but it sounds like we'll be hearing more from her in the future, especially with all the crazy Secret War shit coming up.
And I got to be honest, this new team, I dig it. I've obviously fallen in love with the Guardians that we know and love over the last 10 years, but I didn't know anything about them before this. I knew that Rocket Raccoon was in Marvel vs. Capcom games, and I was like, there's a tree too? That's fucking crazy. I didn't even see the first Guardians on opening day. I went opening weekend, but I think I waited till like Sunday because I was like, who cares about the Guardians? And then I think I went back the next Monday because I was like, holy fuck, that is my new favorite thing. And then we get a post-credit scene where Quill does go back to Earth, walks down with the backpack, I think. He looks like a sad Hulk at the end of that Lou Ferrigno series. And then he just walks in, knocks on the door. I think his grandfather has like a caretaker or something. And he's like, is this the right house, Jason Quill? And they go and reunite. That hug too is like, that got the emotions going, like him hugging his grandfather after so many years away. He's still got pictures of him on the wall. Like the fact that he recognized him and was like, oh my God. And then they're sitting there eating cereal and the grandfather's reading a newspaper and it says alien abduction. Kevin Bacon shares all. That was such a good nod.
And at first I was like, oh, like, are they thinking Kevin Bacon's a crackpot? And I'm like, oh no, this is a post-Infinity War world where everyone knows aliens are real at this point because a big purple one just fucked up the entire universe. So I'm happy that Kevin Bacon, they're actually listening to him. And it's like front page of, I guess, a legitimate news source. So I love that. The Magic Spoon cereal, didn't see Magic Spoon.
Yeah.
I guess they've taken their podcast money and decided to go towards like super duper mega blockbusters. So
guess that's why we haven't had Magic Spoon ads in a while. They've been saving up. Yeah.
Chekhov's grandpa, like, again, we knew it was coming down the road. That was a curveball too, where they're like, the woman answers, they're like, that doesn't look like a Quill. And they're like, oh, yeah. Why does it be like, a caretaker? Bob can't be a wife. Can't be a wife, Bob. What's the problem?
She was so much younger.
Can't date older, younger people. What are we? I'm
they
just
look like they had like 40 years between them. But yeah, that's the note they end on. A very, very like family, heartfelt, feel good moment.
Yeah, and it's what do they call him? The Incredible Star-Lord will return.
Yeah, something like that. But he's the only one that got the will return tag. We thought that was weird too, because we were like, didn't they just set up a fucking new team? Looks like they're going to return too.
Yep. And
what's Star-Lord going to return in? I can't imagine just like Star-Lord the movie.
So it's Chris Pratt, right? So it's like he is the guy who I could see being like, I want my solo movie, yada yada yada. But it's just the way that I don't know. I don't really know if he could do a like I wouldn't want a solo.
Like he'll be in Secret Wars, right? But like if you were gonna do a Peter Quill movie, why not just like have him like continue to lead the Guardians or something? I don't know.
And it's the legendary Star-Lord. I had to make sure I get that right, which I do believe is a comic series. And I did see like people were saying, someone said it's the white background with the black text instead of the other way around. So it could be like a different Star-Lord, right? It's kind of a flip, which maybe anyone in the Secret Wars is going to be white screen with the black font, and that's just going to be how it goes.
That would be wild.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm happy he's coming back. I feel, and the thing is, if they want to do Guardians again, they can do Guardians again. We know the team. The team might add or remove a person based on whatever. And I also think shout out James Gunn for being like, hey guys, I didn't kill any of y'all, so you all are eligible for Avengers paychecks in fucking a couple of years, and you guys can all get motherfucking paid for like a few days of work.
I know. That's the other thing I'm thinking. Like, we heard from so many people, Dave Bautista more than anyone, like, James Gunn is my guy. I'll never do a movie without him again. This is the end of Drax. You'll never see Drax again. Bro, you're telling me you're not going to pick up the phone for a Secret Wars discussion if they want you in the movie for 30 seconds? You're not even picking up the phone for that. Come on.
I think he's trying to angle himself to become Thing. He's just going to go from one guy to the other.
And I would be fine with it too. I'd be like, fuck it. Do it.
I could hear him say it's clobbering time. I could hear that in David T's voice, but it's like, we should probably look for another. I still am hoping that they go Chris Evans, Human Torch, just for the hilariousness of it all. And no one says like, dude, you look exactly like Captain America. What the fuck's going on?
I'm still hoping they go Hank Schrader for the Thing so he could say I'm not made of rocks, I'm made of minerals.
God damn it, Murray.
Now let's do the legendary fast food reviews. They will return on My Mom's Basement every movie review. You texted me right beforehand and you were like, don't forget fast food review. And I said, oh, thank God, I would have forgot. But really, I didn't need the notice because one came to mind for me in about 2 seconds. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's what Guardians 3 is.
What is it, Bob?
It's the Popeyes chicken sandwich. And I hope that I haven't used that before for another movie. I might have in the past, but for me, my rationale behind it is this was a long time coming. You think Popeyes, how have we not gotten a chicken sandwich from them? What in the world? New chicken sandwich from Popeyes. It better hit. If you're Popeyes, you're telling me you are the king of chicken, fried chicken. Your fried chicken sandwich better be amazing. Better blow away the past few chicken sandwiches that I've had. I got to be honest. It did that for me. At this point, I'm still going back and forth between what's the best, Popeyes or Chick-fil-A. But the Popeyes chicken sandwich was something that I looked forward to for a while, and it really lived up to the hype. So that is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 for me.
That's fair. That's fair. And again, I might have said Popeyes or something too. We've reached a point where it's like, unless I go back and listen to every single podcast we did, I'm going to definitely forget which one I did. I know I didn't say this for anything else, and it definitely plays. So my fast food review for the Guardians 3 is the strawberry McDonald's milkshake.
Ooh.
So hear me out here, Bob. We have 3, I think, kind of base level milkshakes at McDonald's. You have your chocolate, your vanilla, and your strawberry. We have 3 Guardians movies of those 3, right? The chocolate, I think, is kind of the default one. I could be wrong. I personally like vanilla more, but I feel like a chocolate shake is what most people go with.
True.
If I had to go to McDonald's and I pull out the sales numbers, I think chocolate would sell the most. And I think a lot of people like Guardians win the most. That's fine. Yeah. I'm personally a vanilla guy. I always go vanilla shakes. I'm a Guardians 2 guy. I think Guardians 2 is a vanilla milkshake. Unfortunately, my mom's basement wasn't around, so I can kind of just throw those and make that my fast food reviews, post production. This strawberry fits in with the rest, all completely different in their own ways. Like I said, Guardians 1 is like this kind of it's a heist. It's like a prison break where they're getting out of prison, has a lot of action in it. 2, I feel like, is a little lighter. It has the family stuff in it all. And I personally love 2 more. 3, this one's darker, still fucking good. And if you're getting a milkshake and someone's like, we only have chocolate, we only have vanilla, you only have strawberry, you ain't complaining. The MCU needed this fucking strawberry milkshake. At the end of the day, everyone's happy. And I'm pretty sure I said the Christmas special, the holiday special, was the Shamrock Shake, because it only comes around once a year and it's fucking good when you want it. So fucking the Guardians is McDonald's milkshakes. I always am down for McDonald's milkshake, just like I'm always down for the Guardians.
Clem, you just tied up your fast food reviews with the Guardians as well as James Gunn tied up the franchise. That was beautiful with the Shamrock Shake in the end there. That was amazing. Overall, this movie for me, I tweeted, it truly is my favorite Marvel movie since Endgame. And that says a lot for me. I know some people in the comments, that doesn't say a lot. What does that say? Blah, low bar to pass. I really fucking loved No Way Home. I really fucking loved Far From Home. I really loved Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I really loved Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. This was just, it felt like a Guardians movie in the way that I really needed it to.
Yep.
And the villain helped so much. The High Evolutionary, probably my favorite villain since Thanos as well. Like a villain that, like you said, in wrestling a lot, it's fun to root for the heel, the cool heel, the NWO. How could you not root for the NWO? But then every now and then someone comes along and they are so good at being a heel that you really fucking hate them. And they're doing their job more right than anyone else. And that's the High Evolutionary here. He was amazing.
They called that heat in the wrestling game, I believe. This motherfucker got heat through every way possible. The fact that his own henchman turned on him lets you know just how shitty he is. Because like Thanos' people were ready to die for him. They didn't give a fuck. Same with I'm actually not going to talk about the other big bad in the MCU right now, but all these guys, Ronan's people, every single person's like crew always had his crew's back. No one really committed mutiny like during the movie, and they were right too. They were like, dude, we have to fucking like pull the ejector button. And he just kept being like, no, we're good. And then he obviously nuked him. So
his best line in the movie was in that scene too. I thought when someone was like what would God's, there's something about God, and he just screams in their face like, there is no God, that is why I exist. Yep. I was like, oh my God, I'm afraid of this guy. I'm ready to get up out of the theater and run away.
And like when you never see a body, you're always thinking there's a chance he can come back. And like the character was done well enough by like the awesome actor that if he comes back,
I know, I feel bad. His name is so hard to pronounce.
Yeah,
I don't want to butcher it. You know what I mean? Like,
yep. And I know he has Mr. I think we talked about it in like the preview. I think Jose talked about it, like the Mr. Sinister ties. Like, I'm not gonna complain. I could go on an X-Men conversation about like like Magneto, Juggernaut, like all these guys we know about, but it's the Apocalypse, who I am not gonna acknowledge the movie he was in already. The Mr. Sinisters, those guys are the ones I'm gonna fall in love with. But this villain, I liked him in like the way that you like respect. I respect how awful and shitty he was as a human for this movie, because he got the heat, and that's all you can ask for. And now, how do you feel about James Gunn taking over the DC after this movie?
Man, I like really, really good. Like I feel like it's a loss for Marvel in a way where it's like you're gonna have to have a director step up in a way where right now, no disrespect to any of the Marvel writers, directors, but nobody has their own unique voice as much as James
Mhm.
Gunn did. And that really, really helped. Like, even in these times where people are kind of down on a lot of Marvel movies, I've seen so much positive feedback just in the last 24 hours for this movie from everyone on Twitter. So I feel like him having his own lane, and you need another director with that ambition, and you need to let him run free and let him be creative with that, because this is like a big loss for them.
Yeah, it's a massive loss, and that entire thing over the tweet and just snowballed and everything, and the fact that it ends with him at DC, maybe it was gonna happen no matter what, but it feels like a massive loss. And I was saying the same thing. They need to find like it's you can't say the next James Gunn, but they need to find the next guy that's gonna make like whether it's pre-made characters, whoever's going to be in charge of Fantastic Four when it's all said and done, X-Men, or like this guy made me care about a fucking comic book crew I had never heard of in my entire life. And I mean, I compared him to McDonald's fucking milkshake. That's
I was
like the
going to say
nicest thing I've ever said that about someone.
at this point, you would compare him to like your family. It's like such a family thing for you. Like this, James Gunn has like created like childhoods for like so many kids out there. It's crazy what he's done with just the Guardians team. When you look at the other movies that have come out over the last 10 years for Marvel, like not all of them hit this hard. And people were also asking us to debate this. What is the best Marvel trilogy at this point? There's a bunch. Captain America, Spider-Man, and Guardians, I would say, are probably the three that people would point to as like the best. Avengers at this point, you can't really call it a trilogy, right? It's not a trilogy anymore. Even if you
And,
counted the first three, though, Age of Ultron is
and
it's
it's like
better than
cheating.
we give it credit for. But yeah, it is
It's
cheating.
cheating, especially when the Guardians are in one of those trilogies, right? That makes it feel kind of
Yeah.
cheating. I mean, if you go Avengers 1, Avengers 2, and you just say like in your brain, imagine an average Avengers movie without, but it's like the ensemble cast is the last two. It's bigger than the Avengers at that point. So I think
Yeah.
you have to go Cap, you have to go Spidey, which are two guys, and
They're
then you
really
have to go
good. Yeah.
Guardian.
I don't know if I could name a best trilogy in that. Like
For
my
me, it's
gut would
Guardians
say
100%. For me, but you know me,
my
I'm a
gut would say
Guardians guy.
Guardians. Yeah, my gut would say Guardians. I think for me, and it sucks to say as a Cap guy, I think it might be more between Guardians and Spider-Man for me.
Mm-hmm.
I love Captain America 1, but out of all of them, it might be I don't want to call it the weakest, but I go back to Captain America 1 less than I go back to Guardians 1 or 2. I think Guardians 3 is probably a better made film as well. And then Spider-Man, like I might still be the highest one on No Way Home. I see so many people turning it on Twitter. Like the Lights Camera Barstool boys, I think, are kind of like regretting praising No Way Home. They're like, it has aged kind of poorly, pandemic film. I still love it. I still go back to it. I'm like, I think this was so, so, so good. In the end, I think Guardians is the best, most cohesive trilogy wrap up, where like every movie felt like it at least was like keeping the same tone, keeping the same everything. Like Spider-Man, I would say Homecoming and No Way Home are better than Far From Home. I like Far From Home a lot, but it's just not in that like blow away level. So I would probably give it to Guardians as well.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. And again, I think as a trilogy, it holds up. As individuals, they hold up. They are so different, and they kind of just they make you feel all these different things. So,
I can't wait
and
to go see it again. I want to go back especially because this week has been fucking chaos with them trying to move into Dagobah over here, moving into a flooded apartment, arguing with landlords and stuff. So like, I want to go see it and really like make sure everything cements itself into my brain.
I guess all right. So next week we're gonna do the podcast after the second viewing. We're gonna do another reaction pod. That's how it's all said and done. We got an hour and a half on this, and we're gonna do another hour and a half on this second viewing. Which I'm telling you, I guarantee it gets better when you kind of get to pick up on the little things. The music vibes are going to grow as you know what's coming a little more.
I mean, I'll admit there were some scenes where I was laughing so hard I didn't hear dialogue.
Yeah,
I would like to go hear that dialogue. But that's it. Yeah.
Hashtag. I think I have a hashtag. Hashtag open the fucking door. We just kind of just go with that.
Yeah. Hashtag open the fucking door. Yeah. Fuck it. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. And listen, hey, that's probably the next movie we recap, right? Is The Flash the next like?
Yeah. And
Yeah. June.
according to a production designer, which I don't know what that means, a production designer, so good you'll forget Ezra Miller became like a real life supervillain for like 2 years. That is how fucking good you know it is, man. That is as high praise as I've ever heard in my life. Like, I'm thinking like Heath Ledger before he played the Joker and after he played the Joker. Obviously, he passed him, but like he became the Joker to me in my mind. Yeah. And now Ezra Miller is going to become the Flash instead of real life Thanos. God bless you. Like,
yeah,
so I'm excited
for anything other than Ezra Miller, I'll be surprised. But I am looking forward to it. I thought this was a great movie. I hope that everyone liked it as much as we did. Make sure you let us know in the comments below your fast food review, your feedback on the movie, your favorite part. If there's something that we missed, if there's a funny joke in the movie that we forgot to bring up because, like we said, it's just been one viewing and everything, leave that in the comments too. Hey, you guys forgot to mention this. I thought that was great. We want to hear it all, and come back next week for another, I don't know, random pod. We don't know what we're going to do yet next week. That's the mystery of My Mom's Basement, a mystery pod.
I have it. We have it in the chamber. We have a Boogie Nights watch/rewatch at some point. So I'm saving that. I think that's going to be a summer thing. I feel like we'll find stuff to like fill the time, but that is in the chamber at least for some point here.
And my Uncle Fun, also hit me up about that and said Burt Reynolds has a tiny part in Boogie Nights. I didn't realize that. We were just talking about Burt Reynolds, and I've never seen a Burt Reynolds movie.
Oh, so. Buddy, it ain't no tiny part either.
Oh, it ain't?
Yeah, he's like a star in it. He's a legit star.
Oh, okay. Maybe he didn't say that. I probably misread the text.
Maybe he just said he's in it, and
he probably said he's got a part in it as well, and I read it like that.
He has a little part in it, and it's like he's a big part. Great fucking movie.
All right, well, I'm looking forward to that. Tune in next week for a mystery pod, and make sure you like the video if you haven't already. And if you're subscribed on the podcast feed, thank you. If you're not, make sure you do that. We'll talk to you next week.
The lights on.